you think that we should have to pay money because of this country's role in the slave trade hundreds of years ago? Joining me now is Dr. Alka Sehgal Cuthbert, who's the director of Don't Divide Us. So, look, what do you think about all of this? And should Britain be paying slave reparations and reparations of any kind to the tune of trillions?
No, right. I think we need to really refocus this. You know, so far it's very easy to get caught up on should we, shouldn't we pay reparations and the numbers of things like that. But I think we need to turn the spotlight a bit on the United Nations report and its authors ourselves here, and some of the spurious, methodological, moral and political assumptions that underpin this report. You know, it's based on huge moral assertions, which are really, frankly, quite dodgy. And so to beef it up, what they've done is hired the services of a corporate financial company to come up with a whole, sort of shed load of statistical modelling of what former colonies might have made if it were not for slavery. So it's a really speculative, imagined scenario. And meanwhile, in the real world, in the intervening 200 years, the fortunes of all countries, colonies and colonized, colonizers and colonized, have changed and developed dramatically. In 2022, the former colony, Rwanda, for example, had a higher rate of growth of GDP than its former colonies, France and Belgium. So, this idea that there are these countries that are sort of still living with abject deprivation because of something that happened 200 years ago really doesn't pass the reality test in any sense at all. And never mind the moral messages that, all white people as citizens have this moral debt. But these countries have been independent for a long time. India was colonized, and yesterday it sent the spaceship, the first country to send a spaceship to the South Pole. I mean, it's just, frankly, a very degraded and patronising view.
Yes, it did. And I must say, I found out to my peril that the vast swathes of Indian Twitter's community do certainly not enjoy being reminded of the fact that we do continue to give them quite a bit of money every single year. However, on that thing that you've said there about the kind of anti-whiteness of all of this, I'm keen to drill down on it, because it does appear as though there is a bit of a concerted effort at the minute, I think, to really slam Britain or British culture, or, dare I say it, kind of white Brits in a way, for things that, we didn't really have anything to do with.
No, I think you're right, Patrick. I think this speaks to a broader political problem that we have, which is not just in Britain, but I think in the Anglo-American sphere, which is that our political and cultural and intellectual elites have really lost confidence. They lack a vision. They're not quite sure what they're doing, why they're here, or what direction they can give their existence and their work. And I think, we feel that. I think many of us feel that in the kind of everyday feeling of stagnation and frustration we feel when we try and engage in ordinary things in public or civic life. And I think predisposes them to really kind of grab onto the simplistic moral message that, if you like, it's the equivalent of the indulgences, like centuries ago. It's a way of, they can take on the burden of white guilt, they can make the right noises, they can set up certain projects, chuck the money about and kid themselves that they have a moral purpose.